was hanging out, and Danny said, "Good luck taking Bart home now." Just read him. That's it. That's my last story.
Well, my remarks are brief, and some of your stories already covered the things I was going to say, so excuse me if I repeat or start. But I know some of you didn't know him real well, and I tried to quickly today just come up with something to share the breadth of his life and how many people he touched. So thank you all for being here. If you don't know, he died last night around 1:52 in the morning, and he was with his partner Brian Moser at his side, along with friend Tom Harvey from Palm Springs and Danny's sister-in-law Lisa. I did hear that he had a staph infection and liver and kidney failure. It did seem like a lot of people had noticed that he was ill, but that's the most information that I know. As you know, he was a one-of-a-kind San Francisco legend with a quick-witted comedy career, countless supportive charity events, a move to Palm Springs with a successful real estate career, and a 20-year loving relationship with his partner Brian, who's the gentleman featured in a lot of the photos here. Some of you might not know, but Danny grew up in a Pentecostal family, if you can believe that. And while his family could speak in tongues, Danny would brag that he could dish in tongues, and he sure did, to the delight of all of us. His MC role with the monthly basket contest that we mentioned at the Edge was for this AIDS emergency fund, and they were legendary. After he moved to Palm Springs, he would still fly up here to keep the contest going, which was the longest running consecutive monthly fundraiser for people with AIDS in the history of the world. After 10 years, the contest had raised more than 6 figures, providing emergency funds for thousands of people living with HIV and AIDS in San Francisco since the very beginning of the epidemic. And as we've all discussed, one of his most famous lines at the contest was, "Are you a top, bottom, or versatile?" And if you dared say versatile, the crowd would say, "Bottom!" Other multiple choice questions would all offer answers such as the La Brea Tar Pits, but we won't go into deep discussion about what the question was. Danny helped raise hundreds of thousands of dollars at events like Lazy Bear Weekend in Guerneville, Chicago Bear Pride, and up and down the California coast and other cities. As an early pioneer in the gay comic scene, he performed at the famous Valencia Rose, which the founders here today, Josie's Cabaret and Juice Joint, which is now Starbelly, and the Victoria Theater, and many other venues. He worked with such famous performers as Joan Rivers and Harvey Fierstein, the author of La Caja Falls, and said he stopped performing in straight comedy clubs or avoided them because the comics who performed there often performed racist, sexist, and homophobic humor, and he didn't want to be a part of that, and he thought it was low-hanging fruit for comedy. Other notable comedians who appeared with Danny included Margaret Gomez, Reno, Leah Delaria, musical duo Romanovsky and Phillips, Monica Palacios, Scott Capora, Karen Ripley, Marilyn Pittman, who's here, Lisa Godolgich, who's here, and Doug Holslaw, and if I slaughtered her name, sorry, and Karen Williams, among many others. Danny also was not afraid to use his talent and notoriety to impact social change through political and activist efforts for a variety of causes, including a 1999 comedy fundraiser for Tom Amiano's mayoral campaign. A true builder of the community, you can see him at the Castro holiday tree lighting, dinners for the disabled or homeless, or personal fundraisers for friends in need. Even back in 1980, he was inspiring youth with performances on college campuses in association with the Gay Pride Weeks. Since 1989, he was an MC and performer for RSVP cruises lasting 22 years. He used to joke that he was there to introduce every act on the ship. If someone had an orgasm in a cabin, on a deck, or on the shuffleboard, he was there to introduce it. He was the voice on a cult worldwide recording hit called Castro Boy that sold over 30,000 copies and can still be heard at clubs around the world. He was interviewed and featured in the recent film Forever Folsom, chronicling the many years of the Folsom Street Fair, and many people don't know it, but Kathleen Cannell, who's now in San Diego, co-founded the event with Michael Delario, who passed of AIDS, and she wrote to say that Danny Williams was instrumental in helping to create the Folsom Street Fair. Yep. And in closing, in an increasingly complicated political world, I feel we really need comedy now more than ever. So maybe it's no irony that Danny passed with his final curtain call on Election Day. I'm sure he's watching down over us, encouraging us to stand up for ourselves and each other, and reminding us to always keep on laughing. There'll be no crickets at Danny's closing performance here today, so please join me in a huge round of applause for a life very well lived for our dear friend Danny Williams.
And I think he was the top.
These remarks barely scratch the surface of the fabric of his life. When you're on a cruise ship for 22 years and you're involved in so many different things, I know there's lots of stories out there, and many people don't even know that he passed since it was only last night. But hopefully Brian Moser, who is his partner, will come back to San Francisco and we can have a more fitting tribute to him with a lot more sharing and consoling his partner and family and friends. So we'll keep everybody posted on any future celebrations coming up. And I invite everybody to go to the Edge and have a refreshment of your choice, where Danny, for many years, made all of us laugh and forget our troubles. And we hope that the angels are delighted with him entertaining them this day forward. Thank you,
Gary. Thank you, Gary.